Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, wherever the heck I am today. I'm in Miseryville, population me, because I'm a Browns fan and I'm a Buckeye fan. This Turkey Day weekend was garbage, garbaggio, trash, no bueno. The Ohio State Buckeyes, they lost on Saturday. The Browns lost on Sunday. So we're going to talk about it a little bit. So frustrating. So first, here, let's go ahead and share this. We'll go, a side by side maybe? About this view? That's kind of weird. What about that view? It's equally weird. And this crops it off. Well, I guess I'll go small. Okay. So let's go ahead and talk about what happened. The Ohio State Buckeyes went into Ann Arbor and laid an egg. I mean, it was a hard-fought game. It was a good game, a close game, a tight game. But the Buckeyes missed a field goal at halftime. They actually made the field goal. Then they missed it. On second thoughts, they called that team up north called a timeout, and then the second kick went left. That 3 points was huge because it came down to the Buckeyes needing to score a touchdown in the final moments and trying to force it, and amidst heavy pressure, our quarterback Kyle McCord threw his second interception of the day. Now, if all we needed was a field goal to force it into overtime, that would have been totally different. We probably could have lined up for a kick right around there, a small play or two, try to get a few more yards. But we were in decent shape at that point for a field goal, not in great shape for a touchdown. And it came back and bit us. You know, a lot of people wondered if Kyle McCord would have been the Ohio State Buckeyes quarterback if it weren't for Marvin Harrison, the two who played with each other in high school. And so now it begins. It's free agent college quarterback season. This is a post from Maurice Clarett saying, "Come on, dog, get in that transfer portal. We will have your whole life turned up. I know your whole family paid, but ain't nothing like being a star at an elite school. Quinn Ewers ain't going anywhere soon. Ain't going nowhere soon. Peyton Manning, Arch Manning, think about it, big dog." I mean, what if you had a Manning come to Ohio State? The Buckeyes have lost 3 in a row to that team up north. Unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. That's not the type of program we are. I mean, in the past 20 years, 25 years, the Buckeyes have been dominant, except for Luke Fickell and Ryan Day. People want to talk about Ryan Day, and you know he's a good coach. He's one of the best in the nation. Based on what? Oh, well, he's only had a few losses. Yeah, he's lost most of the big important games. Yeah, but he's won most of the others. What, you mean like against Indiana? Like Bowling Green, Akron? What are we talking about here? They beat Purdue in Minnesota. They beat Iowa. Okay, the tough games this year, Penn State, that's a tough game. We got that win. That was close. Could have gone either way. That Notre Dame game, we were primed to lose it, except for that final drive at the last closing seconds. It was right at the end. It was right at the end. But look, he got the win. Yeah, he did. But not against the team that counted. Not against the most important matchup of the year. The one that could give us a chance at the Big Ten title. A chance to play in the playoffs. Playoffs? Yeah, Ryan Day can't beat that team up north. He's 0-3. You can't have that. And I'm still waiting to see what's going to happen. What's going to happen with Jim Harbaugh? The Big Ten gave him a slap on the wrist. A 3-game light suspension. Yeah, you can be the coach. You just can't be there to coach during game day. Oh, yeah. but you can the rest of the week, and you can still, okay. That's the Big Ten punishment. Where is the NCAA punishment? Is that team up north going to be forced to vacate all of these wins anyway? You know, that's what makes this so frustrating. It would be a completely different narrative if the Buckeyes went into Ann Arbor and won that game. And look, we were close. There was that play in the end zone, caught by that team up north, but the ball bobbles, it moves again, and he's getting tackled, and the ball moves again. And as he's going down, the Buckeyes wrestle it away and come up with the ball. That's an interception touchback. But it was ruled a touchdown on the field, and upon further review, they did not reverse it. I understand. Take me being a homer out of the equation. I think you could have easily made a case that was a ball that you should have overturned. And that would be the difference in the game. We've seen this before as Ohio sports fans, football fans particularly, of the Browns in particular. We saw it in the playoffs against the Kansas City Chiefs, a touchdown pass to Hollywood Higgins going into the end zone, but he gets blasted helmet to helmet from Dirty Dan Sorensen, and the ball tumbles loose through the end zone. It's not a touchdown or unsportsmanlike conduct leading with the crown of the helmet to helmet. You could have called 20 different penalties on that play, but they called 0. And the difference in that Browns-Chiefs game that was the ticket to go to the AFC Championship game, and God knows where else after that. We didn't get that chance because that was a call we didn't get. And that's why if you want to win consistently in college and in the pros, you need to factor on winning by 24 points. You need to factor on dominating, putting your boot on the neck and pushing. You just keep leaning into them. You cannot give up. You cannot let a game be so close that a pass interference penalty is going to make a difference, so that one bad call is going to make a difference. You kind of have to be up by a few scores so that you can weather the storm. But when you play close to the vest, you can lose close to the vest. Inches equal yards, blah, blah, blah. We heard the speech from Pacino. Right? Every play is important. Now, had they ruled that, I remember when watching that play live against that team up north, when that ball went into the end zone, I just turned away in disgust. I'm like, what is happening? And I turned back to see the commotion. I'm like, huh? What did I miss? I instantly saw that ball move once and twice and 3 times. My understanding is that a receiver has to maintain full possession of the ball through the catch, to complete the process. Through the process, the Buckeyes had that ball. And if that was called appropriately, that would have been a touchdown for the Buckeyes, and the Buckeyes would have won. But it's a number of things. Had our kicker made that kick after he was iced? Okay, well, had he? Maybe. Okay, coulda, woulda, shoulda. He didn't. Because then it's a 3-point game. Maybe we tie, go to overtime, and win it in overtime. Didn't happen. And it wasn't just that final play interception from the Buckeyes. It was 2 interceptions. That's just, you can't have quarterback play like that and expect to compete for a national championship. You just can't. And it sucks. It sucks because this is the only loss on the year, and it looks like the Buckeyes are going to get shut out, barring, the best of the best teams losing in their divisional or their conference championships. It looks like they might be on the outside looking in, and that sucks. I do not want to work at Home Depot. What's that from? It's John Lovitz. It's a comedy. What's that from? I do not want to play Louisville in a bowl game. No. But hey, we got nobody to blame but ourselves. If that's how it plays out, my hair's doing a little whoop thing. But we did it to ourselves. We got to play better. And Coach Day is on the hottest of hot seats. Who will come in as athletic director? Will Jim Tressel be in as athletic director at Ohio State? Would they bring back Urban Meyer for round 2? Are we making too much out of just, I don't know, losing every big playoff game, almost every big playoff game. Let me ask John. Let's see where John's at. Let's see if John has a thought on replacing the head coach at Ohio State or at the Cleveland Browns. But that is the question on everybody's mind right now. Do we stick with Kyle McCord? Do we go out and get somebody from the transfer portal? I mean, I think you got to always be looking to upgrade. And of course, if you look at this, well, if it'll load, recent media, there we go. There's that classic meme where Fred is there with Scooby-Doo, takes off the mask of Ryan Day. Oh, there it is. It's actually Kevin Stefanski because they're both equally crappy coaches. I said stupid teeth and stupid beard. It has me so annoyed. Here's this one. That looks like A-Rod. Is that A-Rod? I guess, would that be what's-her-face? Will you destroy my life? Oh, my God, yes. That's what it feels like to be in a relationship with the Browns. And the Buckeyes, really. So, look, for some perspective, the Buckeyes have dominated from 2004 to 2010, from 12 to 19. But you got these 3, 4, 5, now 6. And the Buckeyes are still down 10 in the all-time season rankings. Or all-time matchup rankings. Ohio State fans thinking we got a shot. Then, of course, you watch the game. Bad things happen. This is that final play. Good pressure up the middle. And this was a hard-fought game. This was a tough game. It was a kind of well-played game. Didn't make the big plays. They say big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. We just didn't do that. Then here are the Buckeye fans after the game just can't handle that. That's such a hilarious moment. And that team up north runs out the clock. Is this enough to want to get rid of the coaches? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. 3 in a row to these bums. And there you go. That's how we all feel, just kind of sitting there. This is the story arc of being Carlton. Fun fact, I was on a game show with Carlton. It was awesome. He was a cool guy. But there's nothing cool about losing this matchup. It stinks. Follow us on Facebook. Search The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Yeah, would Urban come back? I mean, maybe. I would be open to it. I don't know how much different Ryan Day is from John Cooper. That's what this meme was on Saturday. Take off the mask and it's John Cooper. He would always have a great regular season team until it came time to play, the Michigan State or the final game of the year or in the championship, in the playoffs, championship, whatever. Like, he would lose the big games. He would always get so tight. He'd always get scared, crappy. He would always play too tight. He'd be scared to lose, which meant he would be guaranteeing a loss. Because when you play scared, or when you coach scared, you play scared. And you have scared results. So I'm open to it. I'm open to upgrading the quarterback position and the coach. Absolutely. I don't know what else we're supposed to say. It's just a bitter pill to swallow. It sucks. I don't want to talk about it too much more. Now, moving on to the Cleveland Browns. Myles Garrett felt a pop in his shoulder, and now it's in a sling. Do we have an update on Myles Garrett? Let me take a look. I didn't see one yet. But let me do a quick search. I'm not seeing anything. Okay, 1 hour. We're waiting to hear the news about Myles Garrett, and we are sweating. Oh, you can't see that screen, but yeah, it's a great day to get a good result back from Myles Garrett's MRI. I don't want to. I want to say this. the Browns, look, with Myles Garrett, I had an injury in high school playing football. I was a junior. I was playing senior. I was playing varsity for the football team on special teams, and I was a second string defensive end on an undefeated team. So I played the second half of most games as defensive end. I played the whole game on kickoff and kick return. And then on Saturday mornings, then I would go play starting defensive end for the JV team for, whatever. During a game against our number one rival during the season that we went to the state championship, making a play, I heard a loud pop, and it was my ankle, and it hurt like hell. And I was so concerned that I had popped and torn something. Turned out it was an ankle sprain. It was bad. I was able to play one play on kick return the first 2 weeks of the playoffs, Toledo St. John, Toledo St. Francis. And then I finally got a little bit better to play a little bit more after that. It was bad at first. It took me a minute, but I played through it. I was able to, but I was on crutches throughout it was bad, but it wasn't the worst. Now, when I was playing basketball in college, I landed just a pickup game in college. I landed and I felt a pop. When I felt it, that was a torn ACL. And that was not good. So when Myles felt a pop in his shoulder, and I've had a torn labrum, I mean, it's just, I don't have great vibes about what's about to happen. Fingers crossed. I wish the best, but based on my personal experience, I'm bracing for the worst. And if so, I mean, I don't know how we could weather that storm. I don't want to speak it into existence. I'm just telling you, there's a difference here. The Browns played a terrible game. They're talking about Coach Stefanski and his terrible coaching. How can you blame him? How can you blame anybody sincerely criticizing what the Browns did against the Broncos? We were supposed to be able to run the ball, and we didn't run the ball enough. Matt Fontana has a good take on it. So he says, the good was Cedric Tillman. The bad, the Broncos exploited something on that Browns defense. The drops are a serious issue with this team. Amari Cooper got injured. Myles Garrett got injured. And we weren't running the ball. The ugly, that hit on Dorian Thompson-Robinson was brutal. The entire weekend of football was brutal. In cranberry sauce. Well, I'm going to disagree on cranberry sauce. I do like cranberry sauce. But the Browns have now fallen in the rankings. We were in good position. We're still in okay position, but man, it would look so much different if we had that 8th win up there. Sadly, we don't. In the conference now, Ravens in charge at 9-3. You got 3 teams at 8-3. You got the Chiefs, the Jaguars, and the Dolphins, all 8-3. Then you got 2 teams tied. We're falling behind in the tiebreaker, gosh darn it, to the Squealers. 7-4, 7-4. So if the playoffs started, the Browns make the playoffs. But man, at 8-3 would be in that second tier. We're in the third tier now. And we got teams chasing us at 6-5. The Colts, the Texans, those damn Broncos, and the Bills. Luckily, we got some help with the Eagles losing. Then behind them, you got another tier of the Cincinnati Bengals at 5-6. They did not win. They dropped. Then Las Vegas Raiders, 5-7. Then you got some teams at 4-7, and then 2-9 Patriots. I guess let's only look at the 3 teams behind us because they're like so close to nipping at our heels. Colts, Texans, Broncos. Then you got the 2 others of the Bills and the Bengals. Bengals are falling. They're missing their quarterback. Bills are a 500 team. But ahead of us, Steelers, Dolphins, Jaguars, Chiefs, Ravens. It was a good opportunity, and we let it slip through our fingers. What am I supposed to say about this game that hasn't been said? Too many passes. We didn't exploit the running game. We didn't exploit our offense's ability to run the ball. We were doing well at it. A lot of passes. I can go ahead, kind of like with Coach Day, and say, look, the Buckeyes played a tough game against the number 3 team in the nation, undefeated. They're still very talented. It was a hard fought game. Came down to one possession. We just couldn't. We had self-inflicted wounds, 3 of them, the missed field goal and the 2 turnovers. We couldn't capitalize on a few others, and the defense gave up a few. I mean, it was a tough game. I could say the same about the Broncos game. It was close, sort of. But I will say that a lot of passes did get into the hands of the Browns receivers. When you get a football into the hands of a receiver, whether that's a tight end, whether that's a running back, whether that's a wide receiver, they have to make the catch. So I would say 40% of those misses, 40 to 60% of the ones that were missed, the incompletions by Dorian Thompson-Robinson, those were catchable balls. I guess PJ Walker as well. The whole schematic. They were catchable passes. And you can't blame Stefanski for putting the ball into a receiver's hand. So I'm just going to play a little bit of devil's advocate. A lot of that, those were failures. Those were failures from the position players, the playmakers. They have to make those catches, and they didn't. But when you have a team, I saw that chart, that defensive efficiency chart. The Browns were up here. The Broncos were down here. And I'll tell you what, that Browns defense was exposed. They were exposed for a lot. They found a way to run the ball. They found a way to neutralize. They found a way to score. They scored early. They kept it going. Wasn't a lot of scoring, but it was enough. And that was a team that you could have played tougher. But they're peaking, and we are not. We had gutsy wins over the Ravens and the Squealers. But now here we are, struggling. Back to the drawing board. My understanding is that the team is staying on the West Coast for the trip, that they're going to stay. And my understanding is that they only came in the day before, and that Kevin Stefanski's never won on the West Coast. So it kind of makes you wonder, like, why didn't they get there a few days early? A lot of coulda, woulda, shoulda at this point. So I don't see the point in going over and over and over it. There's so many key moments in the game. It was a grinding disappointment. We couldn't really ever get it going. Even the 2-point conversion that was in Cooper's hands, and he couldn't catch it. So we're waiting on the injury reports on Cooper. What happened? Does he have anything serious? Any broken ribs? That was a hard hit he took. What's going on with Miles? Fingers crossed. I'm not feeling great about it, but I'm not going to. We'll see when we see. Either way, we are lining up for another away game. It's a 4:25 game on Fox. It's against the Rams. Here's who we have left in the season: the Rams, the Jaguars, the Bears, the Texans, the Jets, and the Bengals. How many wins will it take to make it into the playoffs? You never know. What was that, 2007 with Derek Anderson? That was a very good team. What do we have, 10 wins? But we needed 11. The one, for the past 20 years, 10 wins gets you in the playoffs, except that one time. Of course, it's against the Browns. It's like I said earlier, you don't ever want to leave a game so close that you lose on a technicality, that you lose on a percentage point, you lose on, a holding call, a phantom roughing call, a pass interference, a random fumble, the ball bounces the wrong way. You don't want to get into that wild card, end of the wild card territory where you lose on a tiebreaker. Just win. There are winnable games against the Bears and the Jets and the Bengals and the Rams. Jaguars will be tough. Texans are going to be tough. And that's going to be at the Texans. I mean, there were a lot of self-inflicted false starts too. Maybe it's that crowd noise, the fatigue of Mile High or whatever it's called now, being up in the atmosphere. Fatigue? I don't know. But the players weren't prepared. They weren't prepared enough to come away with the win. So, the Browns had been riding a nice little streak there. Beat the Cardinals, beat the Ravens, beat the Steelers, and then took a dump 29-12. 29-12 against the Broncos. So back to the drawing board, folks. Horrible sports weekend. But let's have some faith. Let's have some hope. It's a long season. I mean, for the Buckeyes, like I said, unless something miraculous happens, we're probably going to be on the outside looking in for the playoffs. I guess that's set to expand. Is that next year? Top 12, top 16 teams are going to be in the playoffs. I think that's going to be good for the game. You're going to put the best up against the best at the end of the year and then let it shake its way out. It's just, you lose one game out of the entire season and you're on the outside. It stinks. Or if you lose your game at the right time, and it used to be computer rankings, it used to be coaches polls, then it was a blend. It's just like, come on, take the top few teams. And that's going to be the case. So this might be the last time we get on the short end of that stick. But for the Browns, you're still in okay position, but it's I mean, down Denzel Ward, Cooper, Garrett. I don't know how that plays out, but let's just have some faith. I'm trying to talk myself into it. I'm not feeling fantastic about this situation, but it is what it is. Can't win them all. We'll have plenty to break down and dissect throughout the week. So join the Unhappy Hour in all of the places on X. We're at the Unhappy Hour _. Go on Facebook, The Unhappy Hour Sports Show, a support group. Follow us. And we're on Instagram as well, The Unhappy Hour Sports Show, all the places. So focus, look at the windshield, not the rearview mirror. I guess we got to look at the rearview mirror and break down all the things you can so that we can clean them up for the next game. But we're going to have to move fast on that. Send me a message if you're interested in any of these. We have coasters. They're wooden coasters for the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. We also have, where are those? We also have pins for the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. We're only ever going to have 100 of this design. If you want some, let me know. They make great gifts for the holidays. And I'm going to sign out now because someone else is jumping into the studio. My name is Brian Engelman on behalf of the Unhappy Hour Sports Show, part of the New American Media Broadcasting Network. I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Peace.